Oh my gosh. I love this picture, and they actually, I think Van framed it for me, and it's on my desk. This final event, it was on the way somewhere between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, and the women were streaming in. It was their last night, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women. And this, I believe, was the first time that representatives of the Israeli government were going to be inside our program to see it. And I was so proud to show them the result of their investment. My grandparents, on my mother's side, once a week we had something called Bubby's Day, which has gone down through the generations. And my Bubby would take probably 3 buses to get to our house, gave my mother the day off. And she would take care of us and feed us and do, have fun with us. We'd go to the bakery and buy donuts for breakfast. We could have donuts for breakfast. And she would bring us to a bingo game. And that's when I remember my first prayer. B37, B37, I'll never ask you for anything anymore. My Bubby was full of life. She had a goal and she got it done. And she did it with her hands on her hips and with a smile. She had chutzpah. And I hope I've taken that sort of chutzpah and put it in a framework, and I call it holy chutzpah. It's not that you don't care what other people think, but you do things because it's the right thing to do, and you'll use a little bit of chutzpah to get it done. Becoming a mother, boy, game changer in every way. Practically, emotionally, every relationship changed. When I left the hospital with Shoshana, my first, I had no idea what I was doing. I wasn't a big babysitter. I wasn't really into babies or kids. I was going to be this career woman, and I was going to change the world in some way. And I thought, okay, I'll have one kid. And then I realized everything I ever did in my life was to bring into being a mother. I was a stay-at-home mother for the first 13 years. I was a stay-at-home mother. So people are like, what? That was the hardest thing I ever did, was to pull back from any career aspiration and to focus in on home. And I don't regret it, but it was very much against my nature. So I remember saying to my husband, see these kids? They're 5 little kids. I said, it's really not me. I'm doing it, and I love them. But while I was during those 13 years, I was writing books at night, and I started having women come, and I would have a class around my dining room table. So much happened, so much good. So many mitzvahs happened at that table. My children are, in terms of their careers, they're all leaning towards some sort of helping profession, some sort of nonprofit helping Israel, the Jewish people, or other people, because we had such an open home. There was always somebody living with us. It was either a single girl or a single mother with 2 babies. They really became close with them. They didn't look at them as just like who are these people? They were part of our life. And they saw non-Jews becoming Jews, and they saw people whose marriages were falling apart come back together, and they saw that we were there for them. And I hope that it was a good role model for them for life. I really believe that the Almighty gave me a gift for communication. And so when I was complaining to my husband, why aren't we teaching this? Why isn't this organization doing that? He goes, well, you should teach. So my husband spent really the first years of our marriage teaching me, because I didn't have the knowledge. My husband had tremendous knowledge and wisdom. So he poured all of that into me, invested in me. He saw who I was, and he knew I could be more. So when I was out there and I started being asked to speak, locally, and then I went to the States and then internationally, and I saw that the Jewish communities were getting weaker and weaker, and they didn't know what to do. And I didn't know how to help them. God loves all the nations. He has a special love for the Jewish people. We're like the oldest child, but it comes with responsibility, and we're supposed to be an example to the other nations. So if the world's falling apart, we're not doing our job. That's why the Jewish people need to be saved. That's why the Jewish people have to exist. That's why the Jewish people have to rise. And I guess that was the beginning of we have to do something. We have to do something now. We have to do something big. Otherwise, it's going to be over. So my father was definitely more traditional, Jewishly. He cared very much about the Jewish people, but he was very quiet about it. And I guess he was like a man of his generation, that you didn't really express your feelings or communicate in that way. I don't think it was his Judaism that inspired some of the things I do, but it was definitely his sense of responsibility. His word was like, that was it. If he said he was going to do it, he was going to do it. If somebody was in need, he was there for you. That drove me because I saw a need of the Jewish people, and I guess I stepped up and tried to take responsibility, and I think maybe I got that from my father. So, you know, somebody, after my father just passed away, and after the Shiva, and I came back to Israel, so somebody said something, it was the most comforting thing that anybody said to me. They said, your father always knew what you did, but now he sees it. We're in Israel, and our grandchild, Ahuva, is born here. So now it's Saba and Safti Day. I'm like a different type of Safti. I'm always on planes, and I'm always everywhere. And then when I'm in Israel, sometimes there's hundreds and hundreds of people here that I'm really responsible for. So it's not a regular day, but we try to do Safti Day. I guess I want Ahuva to look up and to see a Safti that you can make choices, and it doesn't have to be just one way, and that you can be very committed to God, to the Jewish people, and to Israel, and still express your God-given talents and skills in different ways. My daughter, she asked me, she goes, how do you do this? And I said to her, I know that I'm blessed with a tremendous amount of energy, and I know I won't always have it. But while I have it, I'm going to try to use it for the good.